Folks, good evening tonight. We have Kendra Haug here. She's running for Iowa House District 45. Is that correct? 45?
Yes.
Yeah. That includes suburbs to the east and north of in Polk County and other areas. So, with that, without further ado, we'll give the floor to Kendra. She has up to 6 minutes to talk about herself and her campaign. Thank you, Kendra. The floor is yours. Kendra, can you hear us?
Think maybe she froze.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, yes. Can you
Kendra,
guys
you
hear
can hear
me?
us. Yeah, we see you now. You just froze up for like 30 seconds.
Still frozen. Oh, it's choppy.
No, no, I think she's unfrozen.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Kendra, can you see us and hear
Let
us?
me see here. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So you go ahead and take
Can
about
you hear
five
me?
minutes to talk about yourself,
Okay,
your
perfect.
campaign.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Amazing. My earbuds were not working apparently. Okay. So my name is Kendra and I am running for Iowa House District 45. I am a paralegal by trade. And my husband is a union electrician with IBEW 347. And I got interested in politics and running for office because I have four children that we adopted out of the foster care system. And with my job as a paralegal, I started looking at some of the ways that our government interacts with our daily lives and the ways in which the legislation that was going through the House was impacting that. And so that's kind of what drove me in to decide to try politics. And so over the past however many years since 2018, when we first got our children, I started reaching out to legislators and trying to talk to them about the legislation that they were voting on. And I found out pretty quickly that they do not read the bills, most of them, and also that they don't care about regular Iowans very much at all. And so there was a legislator that every time that I got to talk to him, I would ask him, what's one bill that you worked on today that would benefit regular Iowans? And in over probably 30 to 40 conversations, possibly more, he never had an answer for me. And so that was the end of last session. And I told my friends, I said, if no one runs next year, I'm doing it because this is ridiculous and people are tired of it. So that's kind of what got me into running. I think I have a great skill set with the ways that I've interacted with the legal system, with my skills as far as being able to read and draft meaningful legislation. And then also just, my life experience as a mom of four kids in the public school system, dealing with IEPs, that sort of thing. I touched a lot of different areas of life. And so I think that just gives me some great experience. As far as how my campaign is going, I am currently in a open seat race. So the incumbent, he lost his primary. And so now this is an open seat race. A couple of fun facts about House District 45. It has the highest voter turnout. It had the highest voter turnout percentage in the entire state of Iowa in the last election. And also it has the highest percentage of independent voters, I believe, in the entire state of Iowa. So we have a very, very high percentage of independent voters. Now, when you run the numbers, if you look at just registered Democrats plus the top 10% of independents, that is well above my win number. So the good thing about my district, it is an open seat and it is totally winnable. And so what we are focusing on right now is we are going to be focusing on turning out all of the Democrats and then hopefully flipping a good number of those independents. With that independent number, this is just my personal opinion and based on my many, many conversations at the doors. A lot of those independents were voting for Brian Losey because of his more moderate stance. For example, he opposed the school voucher program and some of the anti-trans legislation. And so that kind of is why his own party ousted him. And so as I'm going out on the doors, I'm getting the feeling that I will probably get well more than 10% of that independent vote, is just my personal feeling. So my hope is that we will win this as kind of a surprise to everyone and hopefully be able to flip this seat blue for the first time in a really long time.
Well, thank you very much, Kendra. Oh, I'm sorry. I said something buzzing here. So with that, we're going to have Patrick Borchak. He's our chair of our election endorsement committee. We'll ask you 2 or 3 questions, whatever
Okay.
time permits. So Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mitch. And thank you, Kendra, for joining us this evening. So as you know, part of the vetting process was to give you a questionnaire that you answered and got back to us with your answers. So what we're doing now is we just had a few questions that we want you to clarify for us. So
Perfect.
on workers' rights question number 1, we asked if you support enacting a state minimum wage of $20 an hour or higher, indexed annually to inflation. You answered that you support $20 an hour, but that you believe $15 may be more possible in Iowa's current climate. So that said, when it comes down to it, please take a moment now to persuade us that you will fight for 20 instead of 15.
Okay. Well, I would fight for 20. I think that 20 is not even actually probably enough if you look at the cost of living in Iowa. And so I would fight for as high as possible. Personally, just me, as a person who handles negotiations sometimes as part of my job, is I'd probably go for broke. I'd say, let's try for 35 and see what the Republicans come back with, because you always ask higher than what you want. My point about the 15 was like, maybe managing expectations of people. But yes, I definitely think raising it would be definitely possible, especially if we get a lot more seats in the House, but also just the general, I think the Republicans have lost some of their base, quite frankly, with affordability. And so I think that we will be able to push the minimum wage higher, even if we don't get a majority in the House. I think that we would. I think that we would have a good argument for it. And I think that we could potentially convince Republicans to agree to that based on the fact that they are losing their base.
Okay, thank you. Next question is the question number 2 in the family rights section. It asked if you support early childhood family support services, including access to child care and paid family leave for both parents. And if yes, how you would implement these supports. You answered that you do support it, and further stated that parental leave should be codified into law. You went on to say that budgetary constraints may limit what we can do, but that you would like to, 1, end the voucher program, 2, legalize marijuana, 3, raise corporate taxes, 4, switch from flat tax to progressive so the wealthiest are paying more of their fair share, 5, reinstate the death tax on estates worth more than $20 million, and 6, eliminate the University of Iowa's Center for Intellectual Freedom and its $1 million budget. So, given your assertion that we may not be able to accomplish all 6 of these, which would be your top 2 or 3 priorities?
As far as to help the budget, I would say that, so to be clear, I would like for the state to pay for that. I think that like paternity leave should be law and they should be paid for, just because that should be a thing. Again, managing expectations, we are in a $1.4 billion shortfall. So I'm trying to get creative in the ways that we could potentially fund these programs. I think we have to increase revenue, and that's just a math fact that we have to do. And so probably I would go with legalizing marijuana just because I think it's very popular as a bipartisan topic. And then I would also end the voucher program, because I think both of those things, in addition to being budgetary concerns, are also quality of life concerns as well. And so I would like to do both of them. Those would be my top 2.
Okay. Mitch, how are we doing on time? We have time for one more?
No time. One more quick question with a relatively quick answer.
Okay. Let's move on then. Education question number one asked if public post-secondary education in Iowa should be free to Iowa students, and if yes, what limitations, if any, should apply. In your answer, you stated that ultimately it should be free, but there should be limitations based on program types, like undergrad versus grad programs, income limits, academic performance. First, please tell us what you mean by ultimately in this context. And second, would you propose limitations on what would be acceptable undergraduate majors of study to be free? And third, why did you include academic performance as a criteria? And I guess one last one, if we have time, where would you begin implementing a free education? With community colleges, trade schools, or something else?
Okay, so again, this is because of the budgetary concerns that I put that this might have to be a building program. So ultimately, I would like basically everything to be paid for, because I think that that's a good thing. But if you look at places like some European countries, what they will do is they will put some limitations. So for example, maybe a master's program would not be paid for totally, especially at the beginning. I would probably start with free trade school, community college, and our public colleges. So like Iowa State, the Regency colleges, because I think that would be a good start. Eventually, I would like to see it all paid for because education makes our economy stronger. It makes our citizens stronger. It makes everything better. And so it's a good investment of public dollars to always invest in education, which is just what I believe in. What was the other question in there? I would not limit any undergraduate programs, to be clear. That was about the undergraduate versus graduate. I would start with paying for undergraduate first, potentially with graduate, or there would maybe be some sort of conditions with that, just because to make it more feasible and fundable as we think about budget constraints within the government.
Okay, thank you very much. Mitch, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you, Kendra. We're going to give you about 1 minute to follow up with anything you like. You can tell us a little more about yourself, about your campaign, or where do people can find you online.
Yes, so I am on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok as Kendra for Iowa. 4 is spelled out. My webpage is also kendraforiowa.com. So you can find me there, and you can join in the campaign, come knock with us, come volunteer, all the things. We will take all the help we can get. And yeah, my cell phone is on there if anyone needs to contact me about anything important. I think being a responsive and present legislator is the type of campaign and the type of legislator that I want to be. So I'm trying to set that up early with building trust with constituents. And I would like to continue doing that as we go.